moving on to Manjari, and in a career spanning again over 2 decades, you've played different roles. So you have transitioned from litigation, to corporate law in a law firm, and then you moved to in-house counsel roles in GE for so many years and now at Maruti. What are some of the key challenges that you have faced, in each of these roles? And if you could share with us how you've navigated them.
Um, Lavanya, yeah, this is it's a big question. First, let me tell you that there are some common challenges across the board. With GE, when I started off in a law firm, I don't think I faced any gender bias so much. I mean, it wasn't. It was the fact was that I was much younger in the profession than others, so it was all about having to do the legwork and do the heavy lifting all the time, and others tend to have the better deals or transactions, and that was a matter of time. We all had to go through our paces from that perspective. In GE, when I joined GE, I think gender inequality, at least at the point that I joined at a mid level, then I grew up into a senior level, was never the case. I mean, if there's one company I really thoroughly enjoyed working in, there was absolutely no issue of gender inequality. I mean, it was because it was not that the people there, they belonged to the same society and they came to work in that company, but consciously the company had created a culture which did away with such biases, and they were done with a lot of force, in the sense there was a lot of drive right from the chairman down towards everyone, that no one ever sort of decided to act or show or display behavior that subjected you to any form of gender bias. The HR would come down extremely strongly on such people. And it was really depicted more by the leadership, because when I grew to the leadership level, I realized that as leaders, you were taught, you were given these trainings that you were the last person to be seen propagating or demonstrating any of this kind of behavior. However, that was a unique company. Regrettably, it's dwindled off. But some learnings from there will always be. I'll cherish them immensely. It's turned me into a professional that I am today. But now coming more to when I joined Maruti, the very fact that there are differences in the sense that it was an Indian company, and then now it is a Japanese company. There are cultural differences. The Western world looks at things a little differently. Here it is different. But I think you would find a little more, and especially also industries. Now, if you went into a service industry or a tech industry, you'll find perhaps more women into it. The more the number, the more the cultural change happens. When it is in the company that I'm currently working in, they've taken a hugely progressive step by getting the first ever woman in their senior management. They've never done it ever since inception. So just the thought of me coming and I have a very interesting thing that me sitting in the business review meeting of the senior management, which is done with the MD and the chairman, the very fact that there were 50 people and I was the lone woman in that room by itself was a task which daunts you. So that is the kind of the first time I ever felt challenged by my environment, by the fact that I happen to be a woman in a highly, highly male-dominated industry or a company where, they were very entitled. So Maruti is like the government, it was the government-run company earlier. So everybody's homespun. So they joined as graduate trainees and they found their way up. So there is a great sense of pride, as well as along with that, a sense of entitlement. Here I was a lateral hire, and you got to start from scratch all over again to build your identity. And they say, "Arey, aap to kali aayi hain." So they forget the fact that I have a whole body of experience behind me, which you can't sort of ignore. But the fact is that you have to build gradually. So of course, yes, that I did face challenges on that front, that, one woman there, second, one who has an opinion. That's even sort of takes the next sort of step towards that. But I think in all of this, what I felt is that these are social biases that find themselves into companies. Why it was not there in GE or some companies like GE is because of a concerted policy of the organization to make sure that these biases absolutely don't exist. And after a while, they change the behavior of the people who are working in the organization. Otherwise, it's very much what you see in the world outside, and you carry it to your workplace, and it's very much there. I think there are strides being made where people at, with the POSH Act and workplace, kind of harassment or equality is there. There are policies around it. Oftentimes, these are good things to have, but how much do they really get used? If there is a dismal diversity ratio, the women anyways are outnumbered. When you want to go and make a complaint or anything from that perspective, it takes a lot of you have to gather a lot of courage to go and do that, because there will be 10 people who will be ready to say this never happened. So the way I have tried to go about doing it is that behave like a professional, be a thorough professional. It is a tightrope to walk, but one that I would never advise giving up, because I think that really stands you in good stead. And after a while, the people around you settle into taking you seriously and settle into the fact that yes, you really do mean business. And while you can have a laugh or a fun and whatever on the side, but you from a professional standpoint, you do it. And another reason, a way to outdo this is professionalism, yes, but be good at what you do. You really got to be 2 steps ahead, because when there are people who could use an occasion to get you down, it is very important to be better. It is important to keep ahead of the curve. It takes a lot of effort, but I think it pays off. And with a certain sense of humbleness and and professionalism, if you do it, I think it generally does pay off. And also hold your own. Like Geeta was mentioning, that you begin to, after, and it happens with time and age and experience, that you laugh at that odd bad joke, back-colored joke, or some sense of ridicule. You just smile it off, and you learn to pick the battles that you're going to fight, and that's very important. You can't probably fight all of them, but you must fight the ones that are meaningful, and oftentimes others which you can let go and allow your work, your professionalism, and your determination to stand up and be good about what you're doing and passionate. I think it pays off. It takes a bit of time. There will always be that one-off dig at you or whatever. People talk behind your back. As long as they don't say anything on your face, it's fine. It's okay. But while you have detractors, there will also be many people who would be silently admiring you for what you do and for holding your own. So I think that's what I would leave you with.